Hello and welcome back everyone in the UX Agency during the Christmas or Advent season. And today we will think about the topic whether it is possible to increase the user experience of a product, software or service. So the question of today's video is whether we can increase the user experience or make the experience that users have better. And I have a bad message for you, or bad news, because it is not possible to increase the user experience itself. Why isn't it possible? Well, we have to think about the definition of user experience, because the user experience are emotions or feelings that a user has before, during or after using a solution. And we cannot force a user to have or not have a certain feeling. But there are good news, because we can adjust different factors of our solution that will make the user or that will guide the user into certain directions of how he or she will feel before, during or after using a solution. And in today's video we will go over the main 3 factors of what we can do as UX and UI designers to make the users feel better while using our solutions. The first factor that we can easily adjust to make the user experience probably as high as possible is the user interface and the usability. One task that we can do to increase the usability of a user interface is to do low fidelity prototypes. These kinds of prototypes focus on the overall main concept of your product, software or service, and only the rough ideas are evaluated, and therefore we will have a strong foundation for the final solution in the end if the core concept is working properly. The more advanced our low fidelity prototypes become, the more we go into the direction of high fidelity prototypes. And these prototypes are then used to evaluate more details of our final solution, whether it's a product, software or service. Because with high fidelity prototypes, the idea is that we evaluate tiny details for a software, for example, like the icons or the visual appearance of our user interface. And remember, the user interface is everything where a user can give input into a system or can receive output from it. And only if our solution matches the user's expectations, there is a chance that the usability is also high, and only then we can go closely to a high user experience, even though we cannot increase the user experience itself. And the second main aspect of what creates a high or low user experience is the branding. A brand can increase the user experience significantly. Every brand has its values, and the users should be informed about those and should know about the different values that a brand has. And based on these values, the users will either associate positive aspects with the brand and therefore also with the product, software or service, or they will associate negative aspects that these brands need to work against. Therefore, we have to be very careful about the branding when we think about the user experience, as these values and the ideas that users have of a specific brand very much affect the different perceptions that a user has regarding a product, software or service. And therefore, it has a huge impact also on the trust factor, and the trust is one of the most important ones when we think about user experience design. And the third factor that I want to talk about in today's video that might increase the user experience is to think about the question whether your product, software or service actually creates an experience. If we think about any kind of solution that is out there, whether it's a product, software or service, they all fulfill a need. They all should be related to some problem that a user wants to solve. But not all of them will fulfill or will create a user experience. Fulfilling a need is something that every solution needs to do, but they also need to create a user experience so that the users have a feeling, have an emotional connection to the solution. In the end, we also have to consider things or aspects like gamification and accessibility if we want to create a real experience and don't only want to provide a solution. Also, what we need to do is to evaluate whether these aspects are important or not. Gamification can make a user interface a real experience, but in both directions. It can either make the user interface really awesome, but it can also make it catastrophic. That involves the context that the solution will be used in, and of course also what the user's expectations are. What was this video about in the end? Well, the answer is really easy, because the main message of this video is that we have to put the user in the main focus of everything that we do, because that way we focus on the user's expectations and needs and pain points of current solutions, and then it is possible to make them happy and to do everything to make their wishes come true for that one solution that we are creating. But also then there is no guarantee that our users will be happy in the end, because the user experience is something very subjective. So all we can do is put the user in the center of everything we do and try to make them as happy as somehow possible. And that's it already for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked that video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn the notifications bell on, and also hit the like button. And I will see you in the next video.